Welcome to this small presentation / workshop on Textmode art. I see we have a few participants. Anybody of you ever done anything with Textmode? Raise your hands. One in the back there. That's good. Okay. First thing I'm going to say, there are different kinds of art. There's variable width, like this font you see on this presentation here. And it's used on forums and stuff like that. And we have fixed width art. That's the part that I'm going to talk mostly about. I'm going to show you a bit of ascii art, some PETSCI, some Amiga ascii art, and some ansi art. That's the best art, as you can probably tell from my nice little hint there. So, I'm going to start with something. How to view and make your own art. A really nice program for watching, looking at art is Pablo View. Just want to look at it. And you can use Pablo Draw to make and edit all kinds of art and look at it. You see a screenshot here from Pablo Draw, which is the editor I prefer to use. It's quite nice. It even has multiplayer support, so you can have multiple people editing the same document, making changes and messing up other people's work. There are even online servers on the internet where tons of people go in and edit on the same document and the same art piece and make really, really big collages. So if you want to try something cool, give it a try. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about ascii art. Basically, it's 96 characters, black and white, or in this case, gray and black. You have letters, numbers, some basic characters like minus, plus, the caret, underline, string, etc. For those of you that are a bit technical, we're talking about the 7-bit ASCII table here, characters 32 to 127. If you look at the example on the presentation here, you have a bit of what is basically ASCII art. Very limited character set. And in this piece, they've used the string character to make a sort of filler for the background. And they make round shapes and gradients and stuff by using commas, asterisks, exclamation marks, and other characters to indicate shape. The point of ASCII art, to make it good, is to actually indicate more shapes than just the sort of on or off with each character. Then we have PETSCI. For those of you who have ever used the Commodore 64, raise their hands. Anyone? Same guys in the back, they know their Commodore. The good thing about the Commodore PETSCI art is that they have a pretty fixed palette and all the characters are always the same. So if you make art on Commodore, it can look like this. And then we have Amiga ASCII art. They have a different font than you have on a PC. This is from BBS. It's called Old School Sanctuary. There's a bit of a skill to reading ASCII art, but once you've done it for a bit, you will actually see that it does say Old School Sanctuary there, although it's pretty hard to see. That's why a lot of these people tend to include it in the plain text below, so you can actually see what it's supposed to look like, as a sort of a hint. The biggest difference between the Amiga style and the PC style, other than the font of course, is if you look at the lines there. You will see that the slashes and the backslashes have a slightly different tilt. So if some art looks bad on your computer, it might just be in the Amiga font, where these lines will actually line up. I wouldn't do that on a PC. And finally, we're going to go to ansi art. This is done with code page 437, the one used in DOS, and some control codes. This is used on BBS's release art. Anybody here who has ever downloaded anything called Wares? No one? No one downloaded Wares? Come on. Only one guy in the back downloaded Wares? They usually come with NFO files. Anybody ever seen an NFO file? Some more hands, yeah. They usually come in this style of art, ansi art. Some games use ansi art. Anybody ever heard of or played the Dwarf Fortress? Yeah, that's done in ansi art. And we have various styles of ansi art as well. We have like old school, we have new school, with various creative spellings. I couldn't agree on which one was the best one. And we have block mode, both colored and black and white. I'm just going to go quickly through the technical parts here. If you want to do coding or programming, this is the stuff you have to know. But if you just want to do the artwork, ignore this part. You use escape sequences to select colors. For instance, use an escape character, then a bracket, 31M. This will change the font color to red. If you use the escape character, 34, 44M, it will change the font to blue and the background to red. So you basically program your display to display various colors. So you send this escape code, and then the next text character you send will have this color. So basically what you're sending to the monitor is a bunch of control codes and text. That allows you to program and make art. So you can easily program your own games and use these codes in order to make graphics. This is a really old system from like the 70s. You have 16 colors for the foreground and 8 background colors. The reason I tell you this is because when you combine something, you have to remember that if you have a character, you can only use the foreground color for the character and one of the background colors for the background. So you can't have a foreground color in the foreground and a foreground color in the background. So there are some combinations of colors that you simply can't use. Luckily, you don't have to care about this if you don't care about this, because Pablo Draw will do all this for us. The final note I'm going to tell you, technical stuff, is does anybody here use Linux? Yeah. If you want to make a snazzy message of the day to your system, you have something called UTF-8 on your systems. Who uses UTF-8? Most of you guys. Thing about ansi and ascii art is it usually done in older character set. It's old school. By using this simple recipe here on the monitor here, you can actually convert from the old way of doing things to the newer way. And like it says there, I will try to code a tool for you to do this. So in case you want to make your new message of the day on the system, you can just make it in Pablo Draw, then convert it and have a really nice spazzy new message of the day on your computer. Hopefully. I'm going to see how much time I have to do programming. Okay, BBS arts. Anybody here ever used the BBS? Yeah, some in the back as usual. They are bulletin board systems. You dial in, you chat, you play games, you download files. That was the primary way of downloading wares back in the day, and other utilities, shareware. And you had to make it look good. You see here is from a BBS, and it's like you have the phone lines, they're called nodes. You have some information about what they're doing, who's connected, and what they're doing. So you could log on to these systems, you could talk to other people. This was basically what people did before we had the internet. I used to go on BBSs when I was younger, because it was local calls and much faster than the internet as well. It was kind of nice. Here you see some more better examples of good art on BBSs. This is all done in ansi and ascii. If you look at it, you can see that it's mostly just regular characters, and I used color codings to make it look more cool. 8 that are like dinosaurs and everything. I just found some random stuff to show you guys. And I'm going to tell you how to do this yourself, how to make this. That's what this is all about. Anyway, guys, think any of this artbook is good? You like it? I see some hands. Preferably, I really like the one that says 8 in the middle there. I like the way it's done. I like the way it's done with all the characters to make it look round despite just being letters. Okay, I talked a bit about games. Anybody recognize this game? Some hands there. I believe it's called Dwarf Fortress. It was the best screenshot I could find. For those of you that haven't played Dwarf Fortress, this probably just looks like a lot of noise, but it's actually a quite cool game. I have a friend of mine who really loves this, although his dwarves tend to go insane and get eaten by vampires and stuff. But apparently, if you look at this, you can probably see some vampires or something. I don't play it. For me, it looks like a lot of random stuff, but apparently these are happy dwarves working. And for those of you who are used to old games, anybody remember any of these screens? This is one I found from Heretic, common in many other games, Doom and all kinds of games. They were used as a sort of outro screen when you quit the game, because this one would remain in DOS when you left the game. Finally, we have block mode art, and this is where it starts to get interesting. Basically, what you do is, instead of just using the normal letters, you use special characters that look like blocks, and with shading, allowing you to draw quite elaborate art. These are mostly from Wear stuff and from art packs and so on. You can probably see here, it says the one with a guy with a fist, it says title, release date, store date, so most likely somebody made this for a games group. Yeah. Chemical Reaction over the other side there is a release art release group. They make this kind of art for the Wears groups. So what they do is they basically have a group name or something, and they say, can you make us a logo? Can you make us a template? And then they do the artwork, and then they hand it back in a sort of a template for other people to fill in for their releases. And the best way, of course, is, in my opinion, colored block mode art. All of this is still text mode. They basically taken a lot of characters and used various colors in order to get the illusion of graphics. But this is all still done in text mode. On the next slide here, you will see a close-up of one of them and the full-size image. If you can see here, you can see that in fact it's only just characters, but they are still making a lot of cool shapes and stuff. This may not be the best example, but it was the one I found within the time limit I had. This one is a better example. This is an ansi drawing of a girl, and you can clearly see here on the image here that they've used the various characters. Basically what they've done is they've taken a lot of black, and then they used characters with just a bit of gray on it in order to make her hair and her hair strands, and with more gray on it, and then even more gray on it. You might not be able to see where I'm pointing, but I'm looking at that strand of hair up there. So they basically sat down there and plotted in character by character by character in order to make this. Maybe they started with her eyes, then drew an outline of her face, and then colored in everything later. So, some technical stuff. Most ANSI and ASCII art is done in maximum of 80 characters. That's the default maximum display resolution on DOS and many other terminals. Each character is about 16 pixels tall, 8 pixels wide. And you can have like a blank space, so you can have full fill, you can have 25, 50, 75 fill for gradients. So if you want to make a really, really dark brown, you can have a black background and the 25% fill with brown. That creates a dark brown. If you want slightly more brown, you use the 50 fill, the 75, and so on. And you can also have characters with everything on the top filled in, or everything on the bottom filled in, allowing you to sort of increase the resolution. So you can see it, look at it like this. You can either have like 80 by 25 in double height pixels in 16 colors, or you can have 80 by 50 in square pixels in 8 colors. The best thing is to mix a bit of both and use all your skills in order to make it more detailed. If you're interested in more resources about this, you can check out 16colors.net. I don't have internet here, so I can't show you. You can go to the URL there, Pico, CA, Products, Pebble. You can check out the Wikipedia article, and just Google or ANSI or Ask Art for tutorials. Or come and ask me. I'm going to show you quickly how to do things in Pebble. I'll make a really simple font in black and white. And basically here's the recipe that I like to use. I try to make things look good in one bit, basically color everything with just black and white, then add the colors, try to add some interesting shapes, use my own little style, and sometimes when I'm really lazy or just want to look good, I simply copy anything from a comic or artwork. I have some Donald Duck artwork on my website. There are many tips and many styles and many ideas about how to do this efficiently, but one tip is to try to shade things vertically, because you have a better resolution downwards than you have to the sides. And you have to think about light sources. Although it might seem weird to you to think about light sources when it comes to text mode, when you're trying to make things look 3D, imagine there's a light coming from the side. Where on a shape will the colors be bright and where will it be dark? So when you take all those things into account, you can create quite a lot of life in everything. And the final line is perhaps the most important one. Ignore the minor details. Don't care about that. Make it look imperfect. Think of the big picture. Here's a simple logo I did many years ago for a demo group called Boozing Coopers. Anybody remember them? Nobody? Well, they're Norwegian. And I'm going to quickly show you how to do stuff like this. If I just find Pablo Draw here. Okay. What should my font or text say? Something short and simple. Any suggestions from the audience? I can't hear you. You have to speak up. The Gathering. Oh, that's kind of long. Something shorter. I can't hear you, Vegard. TG15. Okay. Okay, if you look down here at the bottom here, you see I have various characters. And this one remaps basically F1, F2, F3, and F4 to those. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on various complicated characters, and you just draw with these to make things. And you can also swap the character set down here. Like if you want line drawings, you can have all kinds of character sets down here. Let's see here, if you want to draw lines, you can make like a box. Like this. See, we made a box. Anyway, let's find the block modes. Those are the most fun ones. Okay, TG15. And since we're going to be lazy, we're going to simply steal everything from this one and just make it in the same kind of style. Just start with something like this. Yeah, I think the letters need to be slightly cooler, so let's try to make them a bit more like this. Okay, use this one. Maybe a bit much, but we do like this then. Yeah, it's wider. It's important to try to make all the letters be about the same width, so I liked it better when it was like this, maybe this, and we just make this one even fatter. Is that okay? What do you think? Yep. And you wanted 15, I think you said? Yeah, that's a 1, I think. Yeah. And a 5. Okay, let's cheat here. This is a 5. Okay, let's try to round it off a bit. Not quite what I was looking for. Okay, does that look like a 15 to you? A quick one? Maybe if we do like this? No. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect in any way. Let's add a little outline. Not a brilliant piece of art, but for demonstration purposes it will do. And you can also use F8 and F7 if you want things to even be more exaggerated. Like you have half-length characters here. For instance, we might want more depth in here. Like this, maybe. Two things. Okay, we have a very, very, very basic logo here. It's not really good looking, I have to admit, but within 2 minutes is the best we can do. So we need some colors on this one. Any suggestions? Hmm? We only have black background, so black on black is kind of boring. Any better suggestions on black? Hey, you guy in the back, what do you want? Blue? Okay. Now, if you look here, we can show you the amount of shading we can do. We can start by using the F1 shading. Then we set the foreground color to the black one. So you can barely see it now, but there is dark blue here. Then we can take the F2 shading. Then we take the F3 shading. And then full on with F4. So we have those colors when it comes to the dark blue. Then what we can do then, we set the foreground color to the bright one and the background to the dark one. Then we start again by using F1. Then we do F2 and F3. And finally F4. So those are the colors available if we want to do it in blue. Okay, that we have a light source. Let's say it comes from this direction here. Let's just background and foreground like this. So it's coming from this direction, the rays. Okay, so these points at the bottom here will be the brightest ones. We start by the highlights then. Here, 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 and here, and here maybe. Yeah, and this one. Okay. Then we take it, dial it down a notch. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this one later. This. Okay. Remember, we're not doing exactly professional shading here. Just to show you. And fill out the rest with spaces. Okay. Now the main problem here is that for these half characters, you can't really have shading there, so you have to pick and choose the right colors there. So we're going to use this one, I think, for most of these details. And here. Okay, this one has to be the bright one, I think, like this. Maybe we should have even darker up there, so we choose foreground black and foreground blue and background black. So we pick, let's see, F3, F3, and F2 up there. 3 there, F3 there. It's kind of hard to see on this monitor. Okay, the outline, what color do you want it in? Any ideas? Red? Red and blue. Nice coat of colors. Okay, the same thing with the gradients apply to red as well, so let's just... the thing here is that on the top here, we can only choose the half characters, the FM, F5 and F6 ones. So when you do shading here, you need to try to end in a color that's close to either full on or full off. So move this one. Okay, if you want to add a bit of shading, there are some. What do you think red looks good with? You have to speak up. I can't hear you. Magenta. Red and magenta. Okay, that's a fairly good one. Okay, we put the dark magenta as the foreground, and the background is red. Let me give it a try. Okay, we can barely see it now. Can you see it on the big screen? Okay, let's try this, this, and this. Can you see it now? Yeah. Okay, is that more? Does that look better? Yeah. And oh, let's try black. Select this, delete. Okay, I'm going to show you a simple trick to make something that looks fairly good. I need some more colors. Some colors. Anyone? Yellow. Just find the right font here. There are a lot of characters here, so I need the line drawing ones. Should be these ones. Okay, colors. You in the back there, in the middle there, the gray one, the gray jumper. Yellow. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do is do some simple lines to just spiff things up a bit. Let's say we do. Oh. Okay. This. Then we have the right corner, this one. Okay. Like this. Okay. And maybe some lines over here. Then we need the cross. Let's see, we need this one, I think. Yep. And then we maybe use the pipe character in order to indicate some more broken up lines. Like this. Okay. Let's see. And we can use one of these, perhaps. Yeah. Just some random lines to create a bit of life around the logo here. And we should have a cross, I think, somewhere. There it is. You have to go to another character set to get the cross here. Okay. Okay, and you said yellow, I think? Yeah. Okay, we're going to have mostly yellow, but we're going to do some highlights. So we're going to do the highlights with white. So we're going to do it like this. Here we put a highlight here. And we put a highlight... we should have highlighted this cross, basically. Oh, damn it. Okay, like this one. And, yeah. Maybe this corner down here should be highlighted. Okay. Then you said yellow, so let's mostly do it in yellow. see, we need an F8, I think. Yeah. This is quite colorful now. Okay, and I think for the final fade out, let's use brown. The rest of them. Yeah, I think it will have to do. This might not be the prettiest theme I've seen, but you chose the colors. Yeah. And the colors are kind of odd on this monitor. I can't really see them properly. So, there you have it. Using lines and just changing the colors slightly. Pretty easy to make something. Personally, I like to make them in, say, start with gray, the bright gray one. Make a few lines like this. Add some dark green. Some bright green. And maybe some white. Yeah, really nice gradients just from lines. Just add them to spiff up things. Any questions? No one? You had one? I think you have one. Come on. Oh, there's one guy in the back there. I can't hear you in all the noise. The program is called Pablo Draw, and it's available on pico.ca Pablo Draw. I think it was in the presentation, which has crashed. Okay, apparently this won't be shown again. Google it, Pablo Draw. You can see it on the top here. And here, you go here, you can have like, start a network server, and you can play multiplayer art modes. You can have your friends join in, and they can draw, and they can add things, and when you're back from a bathroom break, suddenly they added a small figure or a face or whatever. It's quite fun to do, actually. And if I did that, I would have shown you some other sites and stuff, but we've been doing this for about 40 minutes. Are you guys tired? Yeah, I am at least. So let's call it quits for now. Should you have any questions, you can come and ask me on the Creativia channel on IRC. Who here is on IRC? Most of you guys. Okay, go to the Errors Free Network, EFNet, go to the TG-Creativia and ask there if you want some more information, or just talk to me. I'm not one of the mentors, so I don't have a fancy spazzy cape. I really wanted one with an ASCII logo on the back, but I couldn't get one. I wanted to be ASCII man or something. Apparently that wasn't possible. So, what should we call it? Save this one. TG15. Yeah. So thank you for coming here, and hopefully you will all be making lots of ANSI and ASCII art from now on, and enter into the graphics competition at the gathering, because there's way too little Textmode art in that one.